Welcome back to Bake Monkey. Today we are doing Rice Krispies Treats Macarons. So let's get started right into it. We've got about 115 grams of almond flour. We rounded up to 116.4. That's just how my math works. Next we're going to do 90 grams of powdered sugar straight into our sifter here. Watch that scale as you're pouring so you don't get carried away. 85, 93, that's close enough. 94 on the dot, that's cool. Now let's sift that into our bowl here. Next step is we're going to take about a cup of Rice Krispies, and pardon the interruption over there. Seems like every time I start a video, my dogs start fighting, or playing at least. They're just goofing around, having a good time. Anyway, Rice Krispies into the food processor. Let's pulse that 10 times. Let's take this, our Rice Krispie crumbs over here, and we're going to sift these straight into our bowl. We're going to need 20 grams. Let's zero that out and let's start sifting. Okay, and I've got about 19.7. That's close enough. Let's pour the rest of our Rice Krispies, the larger crumbs, back into our bowl here. And we're going to save these for later, okay? Okay, once you got your Rice Krispie crumbs, powdered sugar, and almond flour all sifted into the bowl, just give that a quick mix. And then we're going to add our extra large room temperature egg white right in the middle of that. Okay, next thing we're going to do, crack our extra large egg white right in the center of our almond flour here. Pass that yolk between each shell. Get all that egg white in there and let's mix that up. So gently just kind of scoop the almond flour and powdered sugar over the top of that egg white. Toss it around a little bit. Get it all incorporated here. Once you get to about this point, I always like to ditch the spatula, the scraper, whatever you call this thing, and then switch to your bare hand. Work this around. It's a little easier to just press this and fold it over and over just to get it well incorporated. Okay, so once you get it all nice and incorporated, put some saran wrap over that and let's start the Italian meringue. Okay, to make the Italian meringue, we're once again going to take 1 room temperature extra large egg white and crack it right into our stand mixer here. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can just crack this into a bowl and mix it with a hand mixer. Okay, once your egg white's cracked into the bowl, get that straight onto your stand mixer, and we're prepared for when our sugar syrup's done cooking. Okay, we're gonna put 1/3 cup sugar straight into our stovetop. Get your stove turned on. I like to be at about a number 7 out of 9, medium high. Your stove will probably cook a little different than mine, but you'll figure it out. Okay, and then on top of the sugar, we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of water. And give that a quick little stir to incorporate the water and the sugar together. You want to keep the sides of the bowl nice and clean, so get your bowl scraper and just make sure those edges stay nice and tidy as this warms up and cooks. Okay, you can see our sugar syrup starting to boil here. Once the entire surface of the sugar is boiling, we're going to start a 2-minute timer. And on my stove, about 2 minutes of boiling gets it to the right temperature, 245 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's when we're going to add it to our egg white. Okay, 2-minute timer starts now. Cool. Okay, that's looking good. Now that we're at 1 minute on our timer, I'm gonna start our egg white mixing at number 6. And then when we've got 30 seconds left, I'm gonna bump that up to a number 8. We want our egg white kind of frothy and white when we add our sugar syrup to it. Okay, we got 30 seconds left. We're gonna bump this up now. And you're gonna see that's gonna turn into a real nice frothy white as our sugar syrup continues to boil here. Okay, 4, 3, 2, 1. Turn your timer off. Stovetop off. And that's looking like the right temperature to me. We're gonna bring this over. And you can see our egg white is nice and white and frothy. We're gonna add this slowly and steadily right down the side of the bowl here. You don't want to add this sugar syrup in too fast, otherwise you're going to scramble your eggs. Nice and steady so that meringue's got a chance to warm up. And then we're going to let this mix for about 5 minutes until the bottom of our bowl is lukewarm to cool. Okay, it's been a few minutes. The bowl is lukewarm. Looks done to me. I'm going to shut this off. And let's see what we got here. Yeah, looks good to me. Tap that off and let's take this over to our macaron batter. Okay, now we're going to incorporate our Italian meringue into our Rice Krispies batter here. So start with about 1/3 of this mixture, put it straight in. And at this point, we don't have to be delicate. We just chop this up real nice. All you want is to get the first little bit of this incorporated to lighten this batter up. Okay, once you're pretty confident you've got this first little bit lightened up, give your bowl scraper a little scrape off, and then we're going to incorporate the other 2/3 in here. And then once we get this all in here, we're gonna fold this in gently, which is where the macaron actually gets its name. The folding process is called macaronage. Little fun fact for you for the day. All right, we got all that. Now let's slowly just kind of fold it. My favorite technique for this is through, over, through, over, through. And you're going to see it's going to start lightening up every time you do this. More and more of that meringue is going to get incorporated into your batter, and it'll just continue to get more and more lightened up here. Just keep on with that process. Scrape the bottom every once in a while. Spin it around, over and through. Okay, let's check our consistency after we've mixed for a couple minutes now. So we want this to slowly just kind of stream off of our bowl scraper, kind of like hot lava would. That's looking pretty darn good. Let's give this a couple more go-arounds, and then I think we're ready to put this in our piping bag. Okay, so I've got my piping bag outfitted around a mug here, and that's just going to create a nice open container to accept our nice macaron batter here. Just add it in, let it slowly stream down the side of your piping bag. A little dollop at a time. It's looking great. All right. If you've ever watched one of my videos before, you know that we do not bake on the right side of the baking sheet because there's the hot lips that go around your baking sheet on this side. Your macarons will tend to tilt one way or the other because they're attracted to those hot lips. which is also my nickname, ironically enough. Anyway, flip your pan over, put your parchment paper on the bottom side of your baking sheet, and we're going to pipe on the back side here. Okay, so we've got our piping bag out and end is twisted up. Last thing to do is cut us a nice hole. I like about that big of a hole. I've determined that's about a Skittle size hole. All right, now, fun part here. Hold your bag 90 degrees on your paper, squeeze, stop, and swipe. Piping macarons. Takes a little practice, but once you got it, it's a piece of cake or a piece of macaron. All right, got our last couple macarons we're piping out here. And then once we got these piped out, we're gonna get our hand under the pan here. So get your pan up, get your palm under your pan, and just give these a nice little burp. Don't go too hard or your parchment paper is gonna fly off the bottom of your pan, but just give them a nice little burp all over. Burp the little macaron babies. Then we're gonna drop them a couple times. 1, 2, and then done. And then we're gonna let these cure for about 30 minutes to an hour. Once you can run your finger over the top of these without any stickiness happening, you know they're ready to bake. Okay, it's been about an hour. We can drag our finger over the top of our macaron without any stickiness. It's got a nice top hat formed on it. So we're gonna go into our 300-degree oven for 14 minutes. And we're gonna see if our hard work has paid off. Okay, a few seconds left on our macarons. Turn off your oven. And let's see how these came out. Super nice looking. Pretty as a peach. All right, now we're gonna let these cool and make our filling. Okay, to start with our filling here, we're gonna start with 1 stick of butter, 8 tablespoons, half a cup, however you wanna think about it. And we're gonna blend this up. It is room temperature, so blend it up with your hand mixer until you get a nice fluffy pale color with this butter. Okay, so this is about the color and texture you want to see. Just a couple minutes of mixing on high here. We're gonna stop. Okay, now we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of heavy cream here. And we're gonna mix that in. You'll notice when you mix here, it's gonna start on low here. You'll notice when you mix, it's gonna all start coming together slowly and bump it up. But this will thicken up with that cream in here. You'll see. Let's do a nice little dash of vanilla extract in there. I got half a teaspoon, something like that. And then you're gonna mix that all together once again. Start low so you don't get a big powdered sugar cloud in your face. Nobody likes a big old cloud of powdered sugar to clean up. Okay, to start our Italian meringue, same steps as to make our macarons. 1/3 cup sugar, and then 2 tablespoons of water. Okay, to make the Italian meringue, we're once again going to take 1 room temperature extra large egg white and crack it right into our stand mixer here. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can just crack this into a bowl and mix it with a hand mixer. And put your egg white straight onto your mixer. Okay, our sugar syrup is starting to boil. Once you see bubbles all over the entire surface of this, you're going to set your 2-minute timer. You want this to get to 245 degrees. On my stove, that's about 2 minutes of boiling. All right, I'm going to start my 2 minutes. And then this will be to the right temperature and ready to put into our egg white by the end of that 2 minutes. When we're at 1 minute, I'm going to start the egg white. Same instructions for when you make your Italian meringue for your macarons. We just happen to be making an Italian meringue buttercream instead now. All right, we're at 1 minute on our timer. We're going to start our egg white on a number 6. And then when we're to 30 seconds, we're going to bump it up to a number 8. And meanwhile, this has got a little bit longer to boil. All right, 30 seconds. We're going to bump that up to 8. You just want your egg white to get all frothy and white, just like we did for our macaron. Alright, timer's going off. Sugar syrup should be to the right temperature. Turn our stove off. Swirl that around once. And then let's bring it on over here, and we're going to add this into our egg white. Just drizzle it straight down the side, nice and slow. Okay, our Italian meringue has been whipping for a few minutes here. So, we're not going to use all of this with our buttercream. We're going to do about half of this. Keep that straight in to the piping bag. Okay, this is why we put our meringue in our piping bag. Cut a small tip off of there, and we're gonna use a little bit of this meringue to pipe just a little fluff on top of each one of these. Not much, just a little for a decoration here. Okay, last one. And then the rest of your Italian meringue we're gonna squeeze into our buttercream mixture. Now we're gonna take those leftover Rice Krispie crumbs and sprinkle them right on top of that meringue. Good job. Last one. The dump, very nice. The professional dumpage. Perfect, looks great, assistant chef. Now let's finish making our filling. We're gonna add all the rest of our Italian meringue into our buttercream here. Okay, and then we're gonna take that Italian meringue and buttercream and our hand mixer and just give it a nice light. I don't have this plugged in. Usually helps if you have this plugged in. All right, that goes on the blooper reel, I guess. Okay, now that it's plugged in, a nice light mix. Just incorporate that buttercream and Italian meringue together. Hence the name Italian meringue buttercream. All right. Perfect. Okay. Okay, last step for our filling is about another cup of the Rice Krispies. We're gonna just pulse this a couple times. 5 pulses and we're done. All right, now let's take this over and add it into our Italian meringue buttercream. And we'll just fold that in. Okay, straight into our Italian meringue buttercream with those pulsed Rice Krispies. And then just fold those in. Well, that's looking nice, isn't it? Okay, last step here, we've got our Rice Krispie filling here. Gonna cut a small hole off of there. And we are going to decorate the inside of our macarons. I like to do quite a bit of this filling because it's kind of a light filling with that Italian meringue in there. You like quite a little pop of that marshmallowy kind of Rice Krispie flavor. So load these up real nice. You can do as much or as little as you want. Just use your own judgment, really. Last couple, and you will be left with plenty of this Rice Krispie buttercream. Last step here is top these little cuties.
Hey, Dada, what's he doing?
And last one is topped. And there you have it. Rice Krispie Treat Macarons. Don't those look pretty?